you may please, Your Lordship, for the applicant, the appearance is as follows. I appear, my name is James Orengo. I appear together with my London friend, Honorable Senator Luka Kimaru.
Just wait a moment.
Another friend, Mr. Michael Osundwa, and another holding his brief, I'll leave the respondents to introduce themselves.
Yes. Tangati, you are not robbed.
That's
you are not robbed.
Before you came out, I had a session with my learned friends. I'm coming not as an enemy, but to assist in these proceedings. My Lord, I just came from Mombasa this morning. All my learned friends are aware. I was conducting a matter before your brother judge. I have been requested to appear for DCI, and you could place me on record together with my learned Minister Mwangi.
You are not robbed, Mr. Tangati.
Very well. Let Mr. Kirikomi will go down and place us on record. We have been instructed to come on record.
You are not robbed, Mr. Tangati.
Thank you. Kirikomi will place me on record.
My Lord, for your kind permission,
Yes.
we ask that you place Mr. Fred Lashes and Mr. Mwangi for the third respondent. Lord, we are also seeking your permission that you grant Mr. Ngati audience.
I don't know, these are orders.
Microphone. Yes,
But they are there for obedience. But I think for now,
Yes, my Lord.
We require the presence of the second and third as well.
My Lord, I can...
Thank you, my Lord. I was instructed last night, and the request is just a few days, maybe to Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever day it is suitable to my Lord and to my learned friends.
My Lord, I'm aware that for purposes of the record, my two senior colleagues have been instructed. I would have no objection if we take another date.
Yes.
I'm reading a ruling here.
all of us who are here, at one point or another we have addressed the court on this application about the legal deportation of Miguna Miguna. But this is a very proud moment should be a very proud moment for every Kenyan. I think this judgment will go down in history as one of the pace-setting judgments, which is targeting the security and integrity of our judicial authority as enunciated in the Constitution. That the courts are not a toothless bulldog. The judiciary, in the words of Cliff here, can bite, and indeed today it has bitten. What this means is that Miguna is back, because the court has said, the valid passport belonging to Miguna must be surrendered to this court within 7 days. And the court has further said that the status quo ante, that is as of the day when Miguna was arrested, should be restored. And on that day, on the 2nd of February, the court had already made an order that Mr. Miguna must be released on a bond of 50,000 shillings. So the court has dealt with several issues. The question of the citizenship of Miguna, that is a moot point now, because now the court has said the valid Kenyan passport belonging to Miguna Miguna must be surrendered to the court. The court has dealt at length with the supremacy of the Constitution and the requirement of every citizen to comply with court orders. And I think this judgment should be made available to every public servant, starting from the President of the Republic of Kenya, that nobody is above the law. And I think it is important that we start from the President, so that everybody knows that when the court speaks, it speaks exercising judicial authority, that it is delegated to it by the sovereign, which is the people. And therefore, I think the Constitution has spoken, because the Constitution itself says, the Constitution is always speaking. And today the Constitution has spoken, because we had so many provisions of the Constitution which were being cited by the learned judge. Therefore, we are happy to celebrate with our clients on this particular day when such an important judgment has been delivered by the judge. My colleagues to say something.
Let me add just two things. I think for all of us,
Yeah,
but I think you can hear me. For all of us, there are two things to be said of this judgment. This judgment has restated the supremacy of the Constitution and the authority of the law and the courts over public officers and over all Kenyans. Let it be a lesson to anyone, public officer or others, who believes that they can do whatever they want despite the law, that that is not possible. Secondly, it has reaffirmed the authority and independence of the judiciary as one of the very few institutions left in this country that is functioning independently. And therefore, any threat to that independence must be defended by Kenyans for the benefit of Kenyans. And thirdly and lastly, I think it has spoken to all state officers and public officers that you cannot disregard the law at will. You must follow the law. Thank you.
I associate myself with the sentiments from my colleagues, Masina, Orengo, and Otiende. What I would like to add on behalf of my client, the Law Society of Kenya, is to celebrate the judgment, because the Law Society's main object and purpose in joining in these proceedings is to ensure that the rule of law is followed and respected, and that court orders are obeyed. What is important and significant is that the judge made a finding that there was collusion within government, so that even as Matiang'i was acting with a direction or under the recommendation of Kealangwa, the judgment presumes that Matiang'i knew what his government was doing. And therefore, it is important for all public officers to know, when you act as government, you will not escape the reach of the courts. Lastly, the Inspector General and the DCI have been convicted of contempt. That must have its own consequences, separate from bringing Miguna back. They must take personal responsibility and show the country that they hold their officers in honor, and after purging their contempt, they ought to resign office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Viva. A luta continua.
Existing and proposed legislation. The proposed, the feeling is
Nani? Huh? Tushaongea, umeongea je?
Tulimuongea huko juu.
Oh, then let's go with you. Or you, because if you go with your car, how will you step out?
We're going upon for, yeah?
Yeah, but it's, my car is here. Yes, just gone, but